Jesus, Kelly.
You want to go run off and do it?
Okay, hold on. Let's just get this. This will even work. No, the mics aren't even on right now.
It's okay. Mine is.
Ooh.
I don't know about yours. There you go.
There you go, that works.
This is awkward.
It's real awkward. It's only going to get worse.
How long do we go? How long do we have to listen to the whole thing?
No, now you're supposed to do your intro.
I'm supposed to. Oh, because we do it over the background. All right. So, hey, Fan Expo. This is your session at Fan Expo. Super GG Radio coming to you live. Thank you, all of my friends and family members who came out.
And only the family members.
No friends. They're up here with me. I'm so sorry. So sorry to everybody. I am your host and very, very tired human being, Eric Getty Gettinger. With me, as always, is con-going aficionado Alex Arona.
I love the Congo. What's up, Chicago?
Woo! How many people in that audience?
4.5.
4.5.
4.5.
And you know we have Joel on loan from South Dakota somewhere.
West of the Mississippi, wherever, either way.
No, that's okay, I guess. Joel DeWitt coming to us live in person.
Yeah.
There we go. Woo!
I'm not convinced
That's a
that you're even
microphone.
here.
I like the numbers here, though. We each have 2 beers. Where's yours, Joel?
I gave him a beer, and he.
I know. I took it back. Here you
Oh,
go.
he took, no. If he thinks he's getting out of this one without a drink, he's sorely confused.
I'm already one down. Let's start this.
I believe that we might have some type of schedule that we're going to follow here. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm hoping that somebody will
It's
be
right next to you.
Here it is. All right. Yep. So this is a little bit out of the norm for us today. We're going to be running through some of the top indies that we've played this year, and then some of those big AAA games that nobody really wants to talk about. You know, Game of the Year 2022 Elden Ring.
I still haven't beaten it.
I know that you won't.
Oh, the audience just went up to 5. Oh, man, I'm so hyped.
All the family members. Okay.
It's like a Twitch channel here.
So it's like our Twitch channel here. Only people that I know. So I'm excited. We've actually had a really stellar year for indies. I hope that you guys have done your homework. You played these games. But if you haven't, then we're going to tell you all about them over the course of the next 45 minutes. And I don't know how much longer I can talk. So
It's about 40 minutes.
it's for.
I'm cutting us down.
You're cutting us down?
Yeah, you have a timer?
I got a timer.
Does he?
There's a running clock.
I don't believe him.
That's how it works.
I don't even see a clock in this room, so we're just going to have to wing it, I guess.
But a really nice chandelier. This works well on audio.
I heard that we're going to get the video to it. I'm
Hold on, halfway
Really?
done with this beer.
really scared of what's going to come out of that.
It does look very expensive.
Well, there's only one way to find out how expensive. Who wants to break it?
Oh, we're
The audience
we got
might want to move a little bit to the right.
We haven't gotten even to one game, and Alex is already half a beer down. So let's jump in this before it
I'm gonna
gets
shotgun
too
this.
crazy. One of the games that we want to talk about today is going to be Metal Hellsinger. And unfortunately, we didn't bring any of the videos, so we're going to have to depict the game word by word, doing what Alex does best, painting a word picture.
See, you're talking a lot. That's why it's good you're on that mic.
Grab the paintbrush and paint me the word picture, Alex. What is Metal Hellsinger? Singer. Thank you for the backup, Joel.
You were supposed to jump in. here.
I am the silent partner of this collaboration.
I'm almost down with 1. What are you doing over there?
Metal Hellsinger is a
Is-
first-person shooter.
Where you're shooting demons and you're cutting them down to size with a big sword and other dual pistols, shotguns, all these different weapons. And what makes it the most unique take on a first-person shooter is the idea that it is all rhythm-based. You shoot on rhythm.
Rhythm-based. Are you talking like Guitar Hero level of rhythm-based?
There is a meter in the middle of where you're aiming your reticle that has.
If you do
bars making-
better, does the game, give you a boost for that?
you get a combo meter as you're defeating demons.
Combo. Okay, I'll just shut up.
I'm
Go
really,
ahead.
I'm really enjoying this.
You can describe the game. All right, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna finish this one before you get a sip. So let's go.
Uh.
So you're defeating demons, and as you do, you get a combo meter. What's most unique and just so interesting is that they got all these metal singers, and
Big name
artists.
bands too.
Yeah, you got Surge from System of a Down, and just a couple other bands that are really well noted. And they have these tracks that are broken down. When you're just base shooting, you just get the drums of this track. You get your combo meter up the next level. You get some guitar, followed by some synth. And if you're really kicking ass and taking moves,
18x. 18 times combo.
but when you get to 16,
It's 16 or 18?
it's 16. You start at
24?
16.
32.
That's how it works. So when you get to a 16 combo, the vocals of the metal track kick in, and it is badass. You are killing demons and taking names the entire time to an amazing metal soundtrack. Though I will say, as soon as the audio kicks in, you got them vocals, you got the drums, you got the synth, and you are going crazy. You get hit once, it takes you out of that combo. You lose the vocals instantly, and it's kind of jarring how quickly those vocals cut.
Well, if you clear a room too, you have to be careful because your combo gauge starts to go down. So make sure that you're running everywhere. Don't look for any of those hidden secrets that are
Like you can heal yourself
placed-
and stuff off of crystals.
placed around the stage. The nice thing about the healing mechanic is that you can kill the enemies Doom style, so you can just rip them apart if you hit the button at the right time. Or there's also healing crystals that are located around the stage. So you got those extra bullets, go ahead and give it a couple blasts, pick up some crystals, and then try and continue along your metalastic journey.
Did you realize that when I
Metal-tastic.
do this, he picks up on the mic?
Yeah, I know. I don't know why you're doing that.
You're not helping.
No, I should
No.
probably stop that.
This game's so metal.
The game is really metal.
It's really metal. It definitely has that kind of bat out of hell look. Everything that you're walking through in the levels are very demonic and spooky. The different weapons all look stylized in the same way. That's kind of like that heavy metal vibe. It is a quick game. So it's a first-person shooter game, obviously, and it's very quick with how you move. The different actions in terms of the shooting is snappy. They all have the right kind of range depending on what kind of weapon they are. So pistols are a little longer than
Sword.
shotguns.
You got sword.
Bat.
You got
a sword.
Reloading on rhythm.
You got a crazy skull that talks to you and shoots fire out of his mouth? I think it's fire.
Yeah, it's got to be something.
One can hope.
But
Silent protagonist.
Yeah.
You're not really hearing anything from her, so the main voice as you go along is the skull. He's telling you, like, it wasn't always like this. Sometimes it was better until she came along.
What I do like is that the character, like art, when your character drops down into the level, it is just like a demon lady with bat wings.
Oh, for sure. Badass.
But it also feels like that's the generic video game they would put into a TV show to say, like, I'm playing a video game.
Yeah.
And it's like not real. What was it? Demonic in Grandma's Boy? Like that wasn't a real video game. That he was.
Grandma's boy.
Boy. That's a real long time ago now.
Yeah,
That
way to
movie's-
date us once again.
That movie's like 70 minutes, and you get 60 minutes in before they give you a plot.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't have a plot really until the 60 minutes, and then it's like, oh, he stole my game. I'm gonna tell people it's not that he stole it, and then they're like, oh, we believe you. End of movie.
Super GG Radio, where we mansplain the plot of Grandma's Boy to you, live, here at Fan Expo.
You know I'm not smart enough to mansplain anything.
Oh, we're sure gonna try.
That music multi-layering stuff is probably one of my favorite parts of that game, because the whole combo system, it starts such a bare bones track, and they just add the layers of music on top of it. And I'm a real sucker for that kind of music and sound design in a game. If it matches the sort of tempo of what you're working on, it's really awesome.
Oh, you're talking about Metal Hellsinger.
We're still talking
Oh, we're
about
still-
Metal
okay,
Hellsinger.
okay, there
That's
we go.
that's how this is going.
I'm trying to close the loop a little bit.
You're trying to rein us in.
Yeah,
Joel's doing a really good job of trying to bring us back, and I think that's my job. But
You just
from
don't
week-
wanna do it.
Week to week, whenever we get off on a tangent, I feel like it's much more fluid and enjoyable for the audience. I know
gonna-
that
I'm gonna tell you, this beer is only helping or
it's,
hurting.
it's only helping. I'm glad that Joel is finally cracking into his.
slow and steady.
Slow and
Gotta be
steady.
Measured.
We got another 40 minutes here.
It's a sprint. It's a
It
sprint.
actually
guys.
went up to 45 now. We're gonna have to go for longer.
We keep doing this, I'm gonna puke in the back of a 7-Eleven.
I feel like there's a story behind that, and I
Nope.
don't know that we have time for that.
Let's keep going.
But we do have more time to talk about Metal Hellsinger if you so choose. I can't help but feel that the clearest way to describe it is that Doom game that everybody's shoving down your throat, but I like the character better just because she seems like she's out of the norm. She's not your Doom guy. She's probably going to have more of a personality, just based on the demo that we played. Has that big presence, not necessarily scary to everybody, but we'll have to see how she interacts with the rest of the world as it goes.
I mean, it could just be the skull though, which the skull is charismatic.
Oh, he is.
That's a fair statement that he is charismatic as hell.
As hell.
Singer.
Was he Shakespearean? I don't remember.
I don't think he was Shakespearean, but he did have another.
He was not Mercutio.
Yeah, no, that's a Romeo and Juliet character. Thank you.
Okay, got it.
I didn't think you paid attention during high school.
Absolutely not. I'm still reading those books. Just
Okay.
finished Slaughterhouse 5.
Wow.
That's a good one.
Wow.
Did not expect it to go into time travel. Let's continue.
Segue. We're not all about doom and gloom here. We also played another couple of games. Probably one of the more exciting visually was 30 Birds this year.
30 birds.
30 birds. And in this game, your goal is to find 30 birds. Sounds simple, right?
On its face, yeah.
What they don't tell you is that each one of the stages is designed around a lantern, four-sided, no, more than four sides.
It's
Six
four-sided usually.
Yeah, but sometimes you can go into buildings and it extends the map, but it's a four-sided, beautifully paper-craft lantern. As you go, you interact with different characters, and you try and locate these birds. Some of the coolest mechanics are when you flip from one side of the lantern to the other. Those visuals speak for themselves.
I think that's one of our moments of the year so far. We have
The moment when you realize that you could move from one side of the lantern to the other, or even when you go high enough up that it peaks over the top and you're getting a look inside of it.
What really comes down to it is that this is like a paper craft world.
Yeah.
So you get these like a full diorama that's built, and your character. If you had just a lantern, and you had a character that was roaming around and can go around the lantern. That's what it feels like in 30 Birds. It's just a three-dimensional papercraft space, and your character is just living among it.
And it has some neat pop-up stuff too, because there's a shop in that demo that you have, and it just sort of pops open from the backdrop instead of doing the turning stuff. And it's such a fascinating thing to look at. Like, it's not like much else that I've seen before in terms of gaming. But the puzzles are also very straightforward, not too difficult. Very much like this person says that you need the dough to get this thing at this place, and just sort of going down the chain of events. So it's uncomplicated, very visually striking, and the second you look at it, it's wild.
So how many birds did you find?
2.
I feel like there were 3 to find, so right on par for Alex.
Yep.
Joel, do you remember how many birds you found?
I don't know, but it was less than 3.
Okay.
Oh, guys, breaking my heart. Always breaking my heart. So 30 Birds, at its core, it's very beautiful to look at. All of the characters that you interact with, they have their own dialogue. Some of them have a funny story to tell you through the interactions. Others, it seems like the world that it's set in, you go from one lantern to another on a train, but the people that you interact with might not be sympathetic to your cause of trying to find the birds. So there are people preventing you actively from locating these birds so that you can bring back the great bird.
I do like that you have a cell phone and you program contacts of these birds in your phone. And you can just text them, say, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?"
Hey, birds. And you can find their feathers. A fun mechanic later that you unlock is that you build the bird or one of the birds back to life based on the feathers that you select.
You know, I'm kind of waiting for one to just look at me and say, "Hey, a new phone, who dis?"
One of the birds, it'll happen.
Yep, you have to.
The writing was very clever. Like, this is a one-person made game, and I was surprised at how clever the writing was. It was very humorous, lots of sort of quips or,
Fun interactions.
yeah, sure.
Joel, I swear to God, you really got to get on that mic here.
What?
Get your mouth all up on that thing.
This is uncomfortable.
This is
It
not the
is.
first time that anyone's used this mic. There we go. Yep.
There, better.
There we go.
Better. See,
Welcome
I
to the
made-
podcast, Joel.
I made the mistake of listening to the guys setting up for us, and now he's not here to hear me. So
He's
I
absolutely
I
here
can-
to hear
I
you.
can
He's
talk
to our
trash.
left.
He's
Okay.
here.
To
All
our
right.
left.
This is all
What's
your
up, man?
fault. This is all your fault.
No, you're oh God.
Whose fault?
Whose fault?
Well, if we go back 3 years, I think we can all point our fingers at Alex Arona and say, this is the man that did this to me.
Hey, I just want to shout out to your sister Sarah going punch for punch with me on this. She's drinking hard. Let's go.
No, she's not.
She is very hungover.
It is a Sunday. I've been at this con for 4 days, and I'm very tired.
You are.
I am so tired. I'm going to go home and I'm going to sleep for 3 days.
Let me just talk about the con experience for a minute.
Let's talk about the con and how many cool pieces of artwork you can pick up at one of these conventions based on any type of fandom or game that you're looking for. I was a little disappointed. I was looking for more Game of the Year 2022 Elden Ring
This is like
stuff
an
to
ad.
pick up. But did you say it's an ad?
This is like an
is.
ad. Hashtag
This
ad.
is an ad. This is for sure an ad for Fan Expo. And a shout out to them for letting us take the time to record a live podcast here. But they have everything for you if you're looking. Kirby, definitely see a lot of Mario, but anything that you can think of, it's out there on the floor right now, and we're in here.
Okay, I mean that's a great ad. That's a fantastic ad. What I do want to say is I do want to shout out you, your wife,
The
and
listeners.
your sister. The way you guys do cons is nothing short of like, it's fantastic. You set up, you get a hotel for the straight weekend. You get there. You unpack, you got a mini bar, you got a snack bar. I've gone back to your hotel every con, and I just want to see it. And you're like, this is Con Central. This is
Snacky snack.
headquarters. You're like, what do you want? I got like 17 different types of snacks. I got a bunch of different drinks. I got energy drinks. What do you need? Here's the swag station. This is all of our swag that we've gotten over there. It's phenomenal, and it is impressive every time. I'm like, oh, man, the hotel room
Since we're
HQ.
talking about cool artwork, and I'm going to go back to what I was talking about.
Yes,
did
do
you
it.
guys pick up anything while you were at the con here? Anything that you saw jumped out at you? Video game related, nothing adjacent. We're not about that.
Kirby earrings for my partner.
Ooh.
Yeah, and some board games. I got that Bloodborne board
Oh,
game.
yes. Bloodborne board game. I cannot wait to set aside a week and have to take off of work so that we can set it up and then ultimately get mad and somebody upends the table.
It's so hefty that I put it in Joel's hands and he dropped it.
What?
Sure did.
It's heavy.
When?
Oh, this morning. Came to my house. I'm like, check this out. And he's like, oh, God, this is heavy.
Oh yeah.
They
yeah,
make
well,
board games this big?
My first mistake was just trying to pick it up with one hand. It's too big, too hefty for that.
I mean, you haven't seen a Warhammer box, man.
Is it
They're like
is it a
65
phrasing
pounds.
joke? Is it a phrasing joke? Are we still doing phrasing?
I mean, if you're gonna turn it into that, then
Oh,
yeah.
if you want to turn it into
Yeah.
phrasing, let's talk about me hefting and feeling all up on that Steam Deck you got. Woo! Got a second
well,
beer.
we can talk about Steam Deck, but let's digress a little bit here. You guys,
You know what you should play on your Steam Deck?
I don't know what you're pointing at.
Vampire Survivors.
That's funny because that's all I've been playing on my Steam Deck.
Whoa.
Turns out that the Wi-Fi in the hotel room not great.
Whoa.
But you know what is great? How small the file for Vampire Survivor is, and how much content is packed into this game. I still feel like I've done quite a bit of talking, so.
Why
and,
stop?
And Alec isn't here. Alec is the one who was like, "Man, Vampire Survivors.
And I'm
this
just-
is his game."
And I'm also just obnoxious, so let's get it over to Joel.
yeah,
thanks.
I want to hear you talk until you're drunk.
It's either talk or get drunk, man.
You know, one beer might do it for me at this point.
I'll pour you some of mine.
No, thank you.
Oh, don't worry, I got
You-
another one that appeared next to me.
Magically.
While we've been going.
Thanks to our fans.
And anyway,
Keeping us lubricated.
Vampire Survivors is a top-down 2D game. You play kind of looks like a Castlevania character.
Very Castlevania, even in the way that the characters' weapons are set up.
Right, but instead of it being like the side-scrolling left to right, whip your whip and shoot your stuff at zombies and monsters and stuff.
Whip your whip.
Instead, it is
Shoot your shot.
Whip that
yeah.
whip.
It's more like almost kind of like a map.
It is
like
just
you're
a
walking.
giant, never-ending map.
It's
You
bigger
can
than you
go-
think.
It's kind of like the
Any
Final
direction?
Fantasy overworld kind of
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
And what happens is that you have waves of monsters and enemies sort of floating and going around towards you, and you've got attacks that are used to sort of fight them off. But instead of being something where you're directing the attack, it's auto attack. So you'll start with an ability that might be like shoot a whip at the enemies in one direction, and then you'll end up sort of having to go around the mob of enemies to try to angle the attack so that you aren't getting killed by them. Because
It's an excellent point because the enemies are endless. They never stop coming at you.
right.
And the ease of access to this game, all you have to do is be able to navigate up, down, left, right. And if you can do that, the game basically plays
itself.
for you.
It plays itself.
Each of the monsters drops an item. Usually, sometimes they'll drop experience. Sometimes they'll drop other things as you progress further in the game. But experience is used to select new attacks or backup items that help to enhance your character. And then if you're really good, like some of us, you can upgrade your items so that they become like next level. So your whip, if you level it up enough, it becomes a flaming whip. Yeah. Yeah. No, I know this because I play this. You can pick up a piece of garlic, and garlic. But it's vampire survivors, so all of the enemies, they're repelled by the garlic, and it damages them. And then if you upgrade it enough, you get like a mega garlic. It changes colors. It does more damage. Your character becomes almost unstoppable.
How's the weather up there on your high horse?
It's very nice. What's the time limit on the runs here? How long can you guys make it in?
We're trying to make it 30 minutes, right?
I am talking about Vampire Survivors.
Isn't it 30 minutes, though, per run?
It can be. Some of them are only 15 minutes.
I generally last about, 5 minutes away from the end.
Beth, can you verify?
She is not even here.
Okay.
She is chasing my daughter up and down the floor.
Further proof that maybe 5 minutes is all it takes.
How dare you?
How dare. So
This is the
30-minute cap for most of the levels.
Peek behind the curtain. This is like the fourth penis joke you've made at me today.
I'm not sorry.
You and your what? I'm looking at you, Laser.
My wife. Oh, we're getting crowd interaction?
I know.
Oh, I'm so excited.
That's all I'm doing. That's what Getty told me you do too.
What?
She said I don't do shit.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, there we go. I got the point. Okay.
All right.
I got one.
So yes, 30 minutes. I have played, very frankly, the shit out of this game. I've unlocked most of the characters. I'm waiting to go to 1.0 so that hopefully there's a conclusion to the stages. But guys, being somebody that's casually played it, how would you rate your experience? Is it something that you can pick up? Anything that you see negative about it, or stuff that you really like?
So I would say it's probably one of the greatest things for me because it's such a quick pick up and play, do 1 or 2 rounds because frankly I don't count how long it lasts, but it's not very long.
No.
But it is that perfect kind of like I can put my laptop on and throw it on because it's such a low requirement thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a very basic like NES kind of looking thing. And then even a little incremental improvement feels great when you actually make that progress.
Right.
And the weapons are varied enough to where one run doesn't feel like another. I mean, you can choose to do the same thing over and over, but it encourages creativity and experimenting in a way that makes it feel very versatile.
And you guys, the experience that you've had, probably 4 or 5 characters that you've unlocked.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I have don't quote me on this, but I think I have about 20. And each time you unlock a character, it unlocks additional weapons. And some of them are, we talked about the whip. There's a holy cross that you can throw. It flies across the map. Giant barbarian battle axes, all the way down to really strange things like a wheel,
Oh, I didn't realize the new characters unlock new weapons.
a cat.
What does
man.
the wheel do?
It rolls.
No, get out of here. What does the cat do?
I have not played the cat.
What? You have access to it?
Okay, the cat is a weapon. The dog, though. I unlocked
There's
the
a-
dog character, and he throws flowers behind him. And they just, puff out.
What are we
They
even
puff
doing?
out.
My dog does not throw flowers.
Really? Mine does. Grass
yeah, I was
mostly.
gonna say, what is your dog doing?
Deep digging into the ground, stuff flying everywhere.
Digging or
My dog digs.
okay?
He kicks and digs.
Sound like
He's a monster.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you said digging.
Flowers
Dig-
do not
digging.
release out the back end of my dog. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
There's a lot of we're getting a lot of
There's
miscommunication. here.
there's a bit to unpack here.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. I'm just
but-
as a tiny child wanders into the podcast room.
Yeah.
Yay! Crowd interaction. That's what we got to do.
Vampire Survivors.
Yep.
This is a very easy to get into game, very cheap too. If you're over on Steam,
It's like $3.
$3.
$3.
Endless entertainment for $3.
Absolutely.
I'd truly, and now that I have a Steam Deck, I could play this all day. No second thoughts about it. It's a lot of fun.
That thing's hefty, man. You get
Yeah.
some weight to it. You ever play a Game Gear?
It's been a long time.
It's
Like
been
six
a
to
long,
six
long
to
time.
8 AA batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's where the weight comes from.
you can hit somebody with this and it causes some damage.
Please don't hit anybody with your Steam Deck.
$500.
No, I was planning to hit people with yours.
Don't.
Yeah, I absolutely will.
Do you
You
have
will
the
not.
warranty?
I'm not letting you come over. I don't care how many different things you say that you're going to do. You're not coming over.
So what? The other thing that we want to talk about is that the modern games, the new
Modern
AAA
AAA
games,
biggest, baddest, the most money you can throw at a game. They've been
And-
pretty good this year.
it was a good year for gaming.
Again, it's very surprising based on last year. I thought that we couldn't outdo it. It was a little bit of a slower year to start it off, but
We had a
man,
lull in like April and May, but I think that we're hitting the stride again. I mean, like the Quarry coming out, the Quarry, the game from Supergiant.
You straight up just skipped over Game of the Year 2022 Elden Ring. You don't want to talk about Elden Ring here for all these people?
I'll talk Elden Ring.
No,
all
you
day.
already quit, so.
Okay, let's go.
But a game that at least 2 out of the 3 people up here have really enjoyed so far is The Quarry.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Did you finish it, Joel?
No.
Okay.
I'm saving the rest of it from when we did back.
Do you ever
Okay.
do you play with one character that you meet enough times to think this is a douchebag? I hope he dies.
Yeah.
No, just
Uh-huh.
because I want to get that ending where everyone survives, even if they're a giant ass.
Okay.
Let me tell you, some of the decisions happened so quick that I already lost somebody. I'm on chapter 9 thinking about, man, do I want to go back and play this game for 7 hours so I can try and get that perfect ending?
Nah, that team deserved it.
He kind of did. He was a dick.
That's why I ask, like, you know, what are we doing here? You watch a horror slasher, you're like, man, I hope that guy
And
gets in.
that's what this is. It takes the perspective of all of the teenage camp counselors. It's the last day of camp, and some unforeseen incident has them staying one more night at camp.
Yeah,
What
unforeseen instance is a douchebag.
Yeah, so summer loving happens so fast.
Oh.
And that's about as much as we can say without getting in any serious trouble.
I don't
But-
think. Well, this is going up on YouTube.
Well, probably can't say too much more. But you never had one of those summer camp romances that you wanted to last forever?
Never been to summer camp. We won.
So-
Well, hold on. Let's take a hand. Joel, were you a summer camp kid?
No.
Getty, were you a summer
Definitely not.
Okay, so then don't look at me like I'm the weird one because I didn't go to summer camp.
You're still a weird one.
But we watch movies.
Okay.
Still
movies
played
have
this
summer
game.
camp.
Yes. Jason loves to smack kids around in a sleeping bag. We've been there.
Yeah. So
In VR?
slasher flick is the way to describe this.
Okay.
It takes the perspective, as I was saying, of the camp counselors. You take control of each of them at different intervals during the course of the night, making decisions that can impact the fate of those characters. They can die, they can survive. You can find items that will help with survival, but ultimately you don't know what's going to happen really until you get to the nitty-gritty at the end to see what choices you made to survive.
But I think that's one of my favorite things about that game. It's an interactive movie, right? And so it is.
Oh, and
it is
yeah.
easy enough to where I think just about anybody could pick up a controller and do it, because this is the follow-up from the same people that made Until Dawn, which
Yeah.
is a very similar game, but those had very snappy, quick button responses.
Even more
You needed that.
intense.
Right.
This one is not as intense, and I feel like you could hand it to anybody and say, hey, give this a shot. It's worth trying out.
I like the fact that the QuickTime events have taken a simpler tone so that people can really like jump in and try to figure it out, and then it makes it more universal. for a lot of people, for me, it's more the spooky, scary. I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna love being in that kind of mode. But I think that like making it simplified doesn't that makes it more enticing to me than deters.
Yeah, and there are still those short sequences that you need to make a snap decision.
Right.
But a lot of the important sections, they pause and just let you take a minute and think about it before you make your choice.
Before, one of the options was do nothing.
Right.
And in this one, it kind of forces you to make a decision one way or another during basic conversation points. How do you want to interact with the other character? And I'm still getting to the point where I'm at the final chapter of the game, but I still feel like there's interactions to be had and stuff to finally determine how everybody's going to come out of this night.
I do have a question, though.
Sure.
I know that I'm not asking you to spoil the game, but I do ask, how do you feel about the supernatural element?
I really like it. And
It works.
if you're going into it originally without understanding any of the stuff that happens, obviously after you know.
Yeah, you know.
So the hints that they drop, I think it doesn't take until chapter 7 or so when somebody finally drops the word that everybody's been thinking up until that point. And that's where it's like,
Eskimos.
no, not the
That-
word.
That
But
would be very hot for them to live in.
Very well. Okay,
Yeah.
so not Eskimos. Okay.
It's not Eskimos. But anyway,
Mermen.
it's that little thing that all of these games that
Chupacabras.
the studio puts out.
What are chupacabras?
Actually, that's a good point. They could make a game about chupacabras. They're these
Mexican-
monsters from Mexico that will attack different animals and suck the blood out of them.
So Wendigo.
No, they're more like weird.
Now we
dogs.
have to try and figure out.
Mutant dogs. Let's talk about chupacabras some more. No, but does it work for you as well, Joel? Do you feel like the supernatural element like fits the vibe that
fun.
you're going for?
They slowly bleed it in a way that really suits the tempo of the story well. Like the actual supernatural reveal is fine. You know, all these things are sort of aping off of popular movies and horror stories.
For sure.
And it's really just in the way that they present and execute on it. And they do that really well. You know, you care enough about the characters to where when they have those reveals, it is still surprising. And then when they get the jump on you, it's still very harrowing and heartbeat pumping. And I think that that's part of why I try to make them survive still, is that I have my perception of like this character is an ass, but I don't necessarily try to change the character. I
Right.
try to make choices based off of who I think that character is. So some guy might be sort of a quiet, reserved character that doesn't really want to open up to people. Well, I'm going to keep him pretty guarded because that seems like who he is.
Yeah.
If there's another one that's sort of like the puppy dog that's pining after somebody and then having that affect their choices, I'm going to sort of lean into that. And it's really just about trying to play the character right based on who you think he is, and then seeing what the outcome is there.
So you're role playing it.
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. I mean. So my wife and I play it together. It's our week and night thing.
Gonna kill some kids at summer camp.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Real romantic.
You know
See,
what?
when a man-
Romance comes in all kinds of colors. What can I say?
Yeah.
But that's part of the fun of it too, is that like I can control the characters in QuickTime events, and then we can like make a collaborative choice about what we do. And then it's fun to, number one, just like make those choices and play together. But then two, we'll hit these points where it's like she'll want to do the sympathetic choice, and I'll want to do the jackass choice, because it's like, well, I think
you
this
think that's how the character-
I think that's what his character is, and she'll be like, I think I want to choose that choice because I think it's the right thing to do. So it's a neat thing to do as a couple.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last thing to bring up, the choice is what ultimately comes down to at the end of the game. There's 200 and something endings that are a possibility based on which characters survive.
Yeah.
So make the right choices.
Isn't that just life?
No. No, if I learned anything, it's definitely not that. It's video games.
Now I do got to ask the question now, as of our beat list. What do you feel? What do you think right now is your current game of the year?
Yeah. Because somebody has them highlighted in his portion of the list.
Yeah, that's not.
Did you want us
Hey,
to slide the
I'll say
phone?
pass it over. If I'm to be put on the spot here, I
Puff,
need to see
puff,
what I actually
pass.
talked about here.
Okay.
No.
All right. Yep.
Out of what
Here she comes.
there have been some good games this year.
There have been really good games this
Yeah.
year.
They're really good
Okay.
games.
There have been really good games
Tunic
that
was
you-
excellent. Tunic was excellent.
that
You guys
haven't
should,
even made the list yet.
you guys should really try Tunic.
So I'm going to constrain it to stuff that I played this year.
Oh.
Well, I would
And,
just say it was 2022.
Well, that's the list you're looking at. So
Well, I mean, I doubt lots of games I didn't play in 2022.
don't we all? I think that's what the backlog is.
I'm gonna have to split the baby here and choose one. Windjammers 2.
Windjammers.
Windjammers
That's
2.
a bold decision.
It's a close between that and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay, I
Shredder's
could see
Revenge.
Ninja Turtles.
That-
That makes sense.
That's really good too. I think the competitiveness of Windjammers 2, and it's just such a unique type of competitive
Yep.
game, being
Nope.
this weird.
Nope, I
disc.
got it. I hate that game.
I hated Windjammers.
I d-
There
I
was
did
a
not
time
enjoy
when
this.
we were playing it, and
Visible rage is what I have to say.
we were playing it,
Visible
and it
rage.
was just Joel decimating. We were taking turns, me and my brother, passing the controller to Joel as he decimated us. So Joel would win. I'd pass the controller to my brother. Joel would win. Pass the controller back to me. Joel would win. And he, at one point, I texted him like, "Can you tell who's playing?" He was like, "Absolutely." So it was like my brother was competitive to you. Me, I was a joke, and you were just like. At one point, I could tell that you were just kind of playing around, trying new stuff. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. I could feel that pity. I could feel the pity in your playing Windjammers 2.
It's like trying to play Rocket League against Joel.
Yeah. What are
No, man.
aerials, man? Like, I don't know how to be a Rocket League car player in the mid-air hitting a soccer ball.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It still doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
You're in a
man.
car.
Physics.
How you about to do an aerial hit in a car?
How you about to?
So you start with the jump button, and,
Yeah.
and then you sort of tilt the controller.
You know what I
a
liked? I
little
like
bit.
Tunic this year.
You like Tunic this year?
And then you feather the boost a tad bit, and then you sort of like.
Did you say
go up a
feather?
little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
feather.
you gotta feather.
You're like,
Tell me, hold on. Describe it. Like we're looking at it. Joel is moving his finger back and forth.
yeah,
oh,
on,
just
on
a
the
little
trigger,
bit.
just
Okay.
like a
Remember,
little bit.
just a little bit.
This is
Okay.
an
'Cause
audio
you
podcast.
You don't want
That's
to.
why I'm describing it.
Well,
He's
you-
slowly moving his index
You
finger.
don't want to go
just-
whole hog on the trigger because
don't
then
wanna
you just
pull the
go
index finger too
flying
far.
off where you want to be. Like you
Super
just
GG
don't-
Radio, where we teach you how to feather
the button.
the button.
The button is up for interpretation. Now, I think you all should play Tunic, and the reason why I think you should all play Tunic
Okay, this is a Fox Zelda. Is that
Yes.
what we're looking at here? Okay.
is just real quick. I'll blast through that one. The reason why it's so interesting is that you will, by exploring the world, you find pages of a manual. And if you remember, back in the SNES days, you used to get a full manual that would describe the game. Press the A button to run, press the B button to attack, blah, blah, blah. Now, you unlock that in-game. So you will find these pages of the manual that will explain the game, but it's a different language. So you don't get, because they're a different language, you don't get the full context of everything. But finding a second page will describe something else with pictures that will make it so you understand. Like, so there's even a section where you have a save point, and you figure out if you press the button on the save point, it saves your game, and you get your life back. But you find a page for the manual, and it goes, by the way, if you press up B at the save point, it does the thing. And it's a different language, but you just see up B and something, and so you try it, and it's like, I could level up my skills? When was that? Like, I've been playing for like 2 hours. When can I level up my
What kind of
skills?
skills are we talking about here?
You get stats. You get strength, agility, and like wisdom for magic. And that's what I'm saying is that the game doesn't tell you. You're like 3 hours in. That skill was already there.
You see, this is usually the opposite interaction that Alex has with games, because when it comes to manuals, he completely just goes off the
Yeah,
rails. He's
no.
like, "What tutorial? I don't need that."
And that's
then
what I'm saying. Here it doesn't.
And then
it
we
doesn't,
have an argument about it. Like, why didn't you go through the tutorial?
And now there's no tutorial because you were supposed to discover it in the manual yourself. And it, like, again, you'll go through a whole area, and then at the end of the area, it's like, oh, by the way, here's the map for the area. And you're like, what did I just do? You could have just given me that from the jump. No,
They
it's
could
fine.
have.
And that's the point, is that it's very cool
But
to
it's a
discover
game.
that, like, by the end of the game, you're fighting and you're beating the last boss, and you're like, You know, if I were to start over right now, the amount of information I already know, I could just go straight to the end. I could clear it. There's so many different shortcuts. There's just sections of it where you go like, oh, this is a house. Oh, by the way, if you go around the corner of the house, it just leads you to the last dungeon. Oh, we didn't tell you that. My bad. And
Well,
that's what I'm saying. You find that out
Mild
later.
spoilers.
No,
now
that's not
we
actually.
know.
That's not real. That's
Yep.
not real.
No.
But what I'm saying is that that's how the game is. The map is in a way that tilt down isometric view, but it plays in the space that you'll be in the last dungeon and you hook a left and all of a sudden you're back at the beginning and you're like, this was here the whole time?
No way.
I could have just jumped into this. Like I just gone around the corner. And that's what I'm saying. The game gives you, it has all of this stuff pre-built in, but the discovery of it is so slow paced that by the end you're just shocked that you're just like, oh, okay, this was here the entire time. I could play this game again and finish it in like 30 minutes.
So with that in mind, is that something you see yourself playing a second time?
Yeah.
I could. It's more that it plays well in a speedrunner territory that you're just like, this is very, this really kind of hits different now that you know this information.
I always like that sort of like everything's in another language and you have to learn it stuff more in theory than in practice. No Man's Sky did a similar thing like that. And
you played it?
I played enough of it to know that it's not for me.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Same with the Outer Wilds for me, but don't tell Alex.
Yeah.
I'll get in trouble.
I did that.
Well, okay, do what I whoa. Oh, I'm okay with it. Getty, what is your game of the year so far?
I am going to definitely upset everybody. I'm going to say Game of the Year 2022, Elden Ring.
Elden Ring is your game of the year right now.
Right this moment, right here as we sit and breathe.
Wow. Okay. That's like a number 2.
Controversial. I know.
That is a game I acknowledge is a very good, well-made one of those. And it's the closest that I will ever be to actually trying to tackle one of those Dark Souls style games due to the fact that like all the other ones are very constrained. They're linear kind of experience and maybe some branching paths a little bit.
But defeating bosses just feels so good.
It does.
And when you make it past a particularly difficult one, man, it's a high to come off of.
You feel accomplished.
Just to get crushed by the next thing that comes at
I
you.
went 4 bosses deep on the back end. The last back half of that game was like a boss rush. I did 4 bosses deep, being like, man, I'm kicking ass, taking names. Last boss just like smashes me into
Fell
dust.
right
and
into
I'm
the
like, what are we
ground.
doing?
like
Didn't
life.
enjoy it.
No.
Yep.
No. It was soul crushing.
Soul crushing for a Souls like.
Well, Getty,
Getty.
we had a.
Oh, are we? You're cutting me off here.
Oh, I was gonna say we are at time.
Oh, we're at time. Do we have anything else that we'd like to accomplish here, or is this time like we're wrapping it up?
More about what are the last words you want to say to the people?
That's really ominous. I don't know if I'm prepared for this question.
I'll say to the people, hey, thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out with us.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming out.
These are the people in our Twitch chat. We don't
These
get that
are-
too often.
Yeah.
These are the people that I can't get out of our Twitch chat, no matter how many times I try.
I got to pound
Alex
it.
has to
that
pound a
one?
beer.
No,
Yeah.
that's someone else has to pound it. I pounded these 2.
Podcast.
I don't know why I
Saturday.
did that either. I don't know why. This was a.
This
hold
was a
on.
bad decision.
This is a bad decision. Hold on.
Hey, but if you did come out, we'd like to thank you all very much for seeing us live, and I hope you enjoyed your show over the course of the weekend. It was an experience to be had. Go finish up, shop some merch, and we'll do this all again sometime soon. Or every Thursdays.
So, Getty, what do we say at the end?
This will be another episode of Super GG Radio. If you would like to find us on Twitter, it's at Super GG Radio. And on Twitch at Super GG Radio.
Twitch.tv/SuperGG Radio. Getty, you're the worst.
Yeah, I don't memorize this stuff. If it's right in front of me, then it's much easier.
Twitch.tv/SuperGG Radio, where Thursdays we'll be recording a podcast. Mondays will be Backlog. I'm doing it now.
I know, it was your job originally. So.
Backlog Mondays,
I'm
where
just here for
Alex will be
support.
playing his backlog. I don't know what I'll be playing because I finished Disco Elysium when
You're
not
shouting.
on stream.
You're shouting at me.
I'm shouting at you.
You're
yes.
looking directly at me and shouting.
Tuesdays, it's weirder because I'm making eye contact. I'm not blinking. Tuesdays is Skater XL and Chill, where Alex will be playing some Skater XL and busting
real
some
loud.
hip hop beats. Let's see, Joel, what day are you?
Saturday.
Wednesday and Saturday.
Wednesdays and Saturdays, Joel will be
Wow.
streaming.
Wow.
And I didn't just stare into his
We don't even know what Joel is
soulless and
playing.
dead in the eyes.
Don't even know.
All right, go ahead, Joel, because I'm going to start pounding this beer that I've
Yeah,
just
what are you
signed.
playing on those days?
So Wednesday we've been playing Have a Nice Death, which is very akin to
okay.
wow, that is inappropriate. Saturday we've been doing Scribblenauts Unlimited, so we've been using our language to boost that, and more to come. I think we got new plans for Wednesday. It's going to be very silly.
Okay. That sounds really good. Thank you for sharing it with us. Are we all good here?
Hold on.
Are we
Let's get the episode notes so that you can actually read it the right way. You don't have it memorized by
There's
now.
definitely
I think
episode
I've made
notes.
the support guy angry enough as it is, so I don't want to
No, it's
overstep
okay.
our
It's okay.
time.
This is fine. I
here we
think
go.
we're all good. You already did the first part. If you'd like to reach us with questions or input, our email address is mail@superggradio.com and provide us a review on iTunes or the podcast app of your choice. And if you are in attendance right now, if you'd like a free video game code for whatever we have, Steam, I assume.
Yep.
Steve.
We've got some stickers here with free game codes on the back, so stop on by. We'll be hanging out outside for a couple of minutes before exiting,
They've even got names on them. So
before they kick us out. Is that the
Wow.
exit music?
That's the really got to wrap it up music. I have to put it up to this mic because I don't have the iPhones don't have an aux cord anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like
I know, but I'm iPhone, so we gotta do what we gotta do. This is really snuck up on me. I gotta chug this one beer now because Sarah told me to.
You don't have to do anything.
This is all just going to be pain for your ears. So
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, we're good then? Yeah.
We gotta. What do you say at the end of the episode, son of a?
Oh yeah, that's our MO. GG, Joel.
good game.
Good game, Alex.
I hate you so much.
Aw, but I love you. All right, good night, everybody.